And now we turn to that high-profile murder trial. George Zimmerman accused of murdering Trayvon Martin. Today it began with lawyers probing the secret feelings of prospective jurors about race and bias and crime. ABC's Matt Gutman, who broke a lot of news on this case from the start, was back in the courtroom today.
Today, 16 months after a single gunshot in this tidy community triggered a national debate about race, prospective jurors in the George Zimmerman murder trial were asked the fundamental question.
Is there any question in your mind that you can be fair to both sides?
No question.
Zimmerman, a white Hispanic neighborhood watchman, shot 17-year-old Trayvon Martin in February 2012. For weeks, national protests and a wave of high school walkouts gripped the nation, even grabbing the attention of the president.
You know, if I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon.
This morning, the first 100 of 500 potential jurors marched through those doors, all of them filling out a questionnaire specifically designed for this case.
So the bottom line is you're like a blank slate.
Yeah. Lawyers in court trying to weed out jurors who've already made up their minds, talking with friends or family.
What side did they take?
The child's side, of course. He was a child.
Lawyers also grappling with the thorny issue of racial bias in the jury pool. What are the tells that would let the prosecution or defense know that someone is biased?
Well, they may be subtle, but certainly one of the tells is what organizations do you belong to? And are those organizations that in the past have excluded minorities?
The whole system's guilty!
Last year's tension remains high, as is the threat for both families tangled up in this shooting. The Martins.
People who have been threatening to actually talk about your kids and your family members, and specifically by name?
Yes. Yes.
And the Zimmermans.
We have death threats directed at us for being George's family.
In court, jury selection bringing broad tedium, levity, and ultimately, in a few weeks, 6 jurors who will decide Zimmerman's fate. Matt Gutman, ABC News, Sanford, Florida.
The child's.